Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we are back at it again with another Wuthering Waves 3.1 video. And this time we're gonna have a bit of a conversation, not necessarily about the quality of the story itself, but all of the things related to it that have already either happened before in the game or are probably going to be happening in future story quests. Because it's fair to say that Wuthering Waves 3.1, that main story, is one that's basically been tied to almost everything else that's occurred in the game. It's tied to even like 1.0, it's tied to before the game even started, and it also turns out it might have an insane link to version 2.8, the Chisa patch, the one that everyone thought had very close to no story significance at all and was just a gateway to Lahai Roy. It turns out Kuro might have actually been cooking, and it turns out Kuro might deserve our apology, because while we thought they were burning the kitchen, they were making a Michelin meal. It just turns out that that one needs a little bit extra time in the oven. So without further ado, let's go ahead. Let's start talking about how those links have formed, and of course, all of the great things that are probably going to end up happening as a result of it. So one of the pivotal moments of, and obviously this is going to have some spoilers if you didn't recognize that already, so avert your views if you already know what I mean. Anyways, one of the most pivotal moments in the 3.1 story quest was a statement made by Sigillum. And Sigillum is basically, you see it revealed later on, it is a holder of rovers' old frequencies before their memory wipe. And it says this because it's old rover.
Like, it kind of like that, it looks like one too.
He says go home. Sorry for my yap. Sigillum says go home. That's because one of the main missions of Old Rover, before the sound wipe, Sigillum says go home. And you find out later on in the quest, right, they take off Sigillum's mask, they deal some damage to him, right? You can see Rover looking shook here. Bro, that was a Kamehameha. That was like a fucking Kamehameha. I don't like that. Did you forget your own homeland? That is Old Rover basically talking to New Rover. And you find out later on in the quest that basically the trauma of Rover being stuck on Solaris, separated from his homeland by the etheric sea, which is, you know, enveloping the world and doesn't allow anything in or out, that trauma is what led to Rover wiping their memories. Because they couldn't deal with the fact they were focusing too much on, not on Solaris, but just thinking about home the entire time. And that's one of the pivotal moments of Ameth's sacrifice, right? She wants Rover to be able to not have to remember that, not go through the trauma of a home they can never return to. And so that's why she's so hesitant in telling Rover anything, right, about their past. Obviously, Rover finds out that's the right thing to do for them, and Ameth naturally has her very, very tragic story. We're not going to be diving too much into that because I think that's like an entire different video topic of its own, right? She has her own tragic story over here, and naturally along the way, right, you see a lot of references to the old quests. You have Rover say the quote of, I'll just let this moment play out.
I will be there for everyone as we head toward our shared future, leaving the past behind.
You might remember that voice line. It's from the start. Well, you hear it when you basically first enter the game, when you go to the character select screen. You're going to hear it a lot when you're on a new account because that's Rover's, like, character select icon or character select line. So it's just, that's the level of stuff that they were doing in this quest. And you might have already thought, oh, damn, right? They've already done plenty of that. Surely it's not going to be linked to anything else. But then they also did this. My only wish for you, let's just check out this moment over here.
What would make you proud?
Ameth? My only wish for you is that you live a happy life.
Excuse that little bitch in the corner of the screen. Look at where you see the cut over here. That's the chair, right? I didn't actually see this on my first watch. That's the chair. The pilot seat, right, for the Exostrider stuff. Check this out. Check out this moment over here. This is when Ameth is currently overclocking to resonate with the Exostrider.
I said move! Yay!
My only wish for you is that you live a happy life. That's where it's from. But then look at Ameth's response to this.
I refuse.
Because she's motivated to save the world because Rover was her parental figure. And so Rover's telling her, don't save the world, just be happy. She's saying, I refuse. And this is when she dies.
To let the void take my future.
This is essentially, she dies here.
I will protect everything we have. Saving the world. I meant every word!
And obviously, if you keep up with the ending of version 3.1, you know where Ameth is right now. You know where she is right now. You don't get the full significance of this scene unless, right, you watched that cinematic short. But that's not it. That's not the only callback that occurs during this quest. There's even more. And it extends beyond just the things released in the past version or two. Because this is from version 2.8. This was the final boss of the Honami City sort of arc you went on with Chisa. And what this boss says in the middle of the fight is, go home now. And so you might be thinking, okay, is this like related to Sigilus? Is this also Rover as well? Well, there's an answer to that question over here. This is what somebody cooked up a little bit. They rewatched the last half hour of version 2.8, and this is what they found. After the party that Rover wakes up at, remember the party that you're at with the Black Shores and Chisa, right? For a split second, you see Rover's hand being translucent, which mimics the frequency loss you see in 3.1 from Sigilus. Rover then says they don't remember what happened last night. And after talking to Namipon, you get the achievement, the story you don't know. So naturally, there's a lot of questions you're probably going to have. Did something happen with Rover's frequencies? What was going on over here when this was all going down? What happened in that lost amount of time between Rover going back to the party and, you know, getting their frequencies messed with? Who knows, right? Who knows? But there's also something else. CN has apparently caught on when it comes to stuff like this. What do you see over here? What does that look like after version 3.1? Doesn't this kind of look like the scene where Ameth is making the ultimate sacrifice? Fucker, what are you doing? Why are you making me control it right now?
Have to overclock to get
Why are you
through.
making me send this character to their death? You're literally making me man the controls and send her to her fucking death. What is wrong with you? That's her overclocking. Basically turning into a meteor.
Oh, shit.
That traverses through time.
Oh, we get a whole
and ends up all the
2D?
way back here.
That's her after her journey? Oh, no.
It was before this? Wait. Anyway, okay. Wait, when does she turn into the goddamn meteor then? Is it like here? Oh, it might be here. Oh, yeah, it's here.
You down.
Yep, it's here. My bad. So she's kind of like, it's sort of the same thing. It's sort of the same thing, right? I assume she's a meteor in here. That's why it like looks like this, right? I assume she's a meteor during that entire scene. Anyways, you can see that this is what Ameth is in this part of version 3.1. It's essentially exactly what this is too. And you see that there are multiple of them. One thing about the version 3.1 story is that there's this idea of a time loop, right? And that time loop basically is Ameth going back, ensuring that Lahai exists so that she can be born to be saved by Rover so that she can then turn into the Exostrider Sentinel or the Exostrider Resonator and then go back in time to save Lahai. That's the gist of the time loop, but there's something else that people are starting to talk about. What if this time loop is related to what happened over here in version 2.8? Because what do you see Chisa saving in an animation when you pull her? This is her pulling, her convene animation. What is she saving in here? A black cat. And guess what one of the pivotal moments of this quest is? You find out about what Rover basically lost when it comes to his memories, why Rover decided to forget, and the way that it's told to you is through kind of like this guided little scene over here where you enter like Ameth's like mindscape, right? And, well, you hear about all of that cat stuff. Please save us, they begged the cat, and of course the cat agreed, blah, 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 so on and so forth. And so think about it this way, guys. A lot of people are saying Chisa might be one of those units that goes out and is able to basically rewrite the timeline. And the reason for that is very simple. Chisa consistently wears, let me just find her on the Wikipedia because it's probably just gonna be easier to get a picture of her. When it comes to Chisa, one of the things about her is that she has safety measures that she always has in the story. And the safety measure that she has built in is this collar that you see glowing. This collar prevents her from overclocking because her ability is so strong, she cuts through dimensions. And so the collar ensures that she doesn't cut too much and end up in a crazy fucking place. Well, that's how she ended up in Honami City, right? Because she kind of like, I think she kind of overclocked a bit, right? So the idea, right, is that she's going to intentionally take the collar off to fully access her powers. And what do you notice over here? Do you think Chisa would be able to cut something when it's related to this? To maybe follow where that meteor is going. And so you can probably guess what's happening over here. We're probably going to find some way to maybe travel back in time to the start of Honami City or something like that. Or Chisa agrees to experiment with her powers without her collar. And then we find some way to literally cut through time. Because that's one of the theories that I've had about Chisa. That's why I've been a little bit disappointed in her story involvement. Because her forte ability is so fucking ridiculous. She goes to alternative dimensions, bro. That is how strong she ends up in random dimensions. What better character is there to go save Ameth? Because it's already confirmed she cuts through time. Because how does she end up? 20 years, right? That's what she missed. And so when you know that the story you don't know is there, you know that the rover's frequency loss is also something happening in Honami. Gosh, this can get pretty big, isn't it? And so there's one last piece over here that I feel like a lot of people have mentioned, but I haven't gotten a photo of it. Do you guys remember the mixtape? Check her forte description. Sure. Yeah, sure. Like I think her forte is going to have a description, right? Resonating power. Oh, here we go. Under extreme conditions, she may be capable of analyzing abstract spatial structures, identifying the threads of anomalies within anomalous spaces, and inducing reality distortion events, including spatial blank. So you can probably see over here. The subject is required to wear a collar-type resonator suppression device to regulate her forte, and she's considered high risk. If this unit doesn't get used to solve this problem, that would be the most ridiculous thing ever. But isn't Kuro telling us something with this? She is going to be used to solve the problem. The events from Honami City are actually going to be relevant for Lahai. Because how can you disagree with that take when you see this and you know what happened with Sigillum? And now we got this. What's happening over here, guys? Isn't that the same sort of like frequency loss that we saw as well when it came to, well, oh, girl, you need that overclock. Sure, very sure. It was the same frequency loss that we looked at over here. And so a lot of people are making the take. Is this cassette something that's like triggering a time loop? Some people are thinking that. Is the moment that Rover touched this cassette, is that making a time loop? Who knows? Maybe Rover ends up dying. They die, but then in the time loop, it brings them back to Honami or something like that. And then they kind of replay the events of the story, except at some point in that story, right, we end up using Chisa's abilities to go follow this star and go save Ameth. That could be something that occurs, right? that could be something that happens. And Chisa's line is, I will sever this deadlock. A time loop sounds like a deadlock to me. That's what Chisa says. That's her line. I will sever this deadlock. A time loop is the perfect example of a deadlock. It is like one of the best ones you can have because you can't literally do anything. It's supposed to repeat over and over. That's Amith. A voice from the silence. And that is when Amith, guys, in the story over here, Amith, as she boops Rover, right, at the start of 3.0, right, she boops Rover, and then she sacrifices herself. We saw that scene, right? Listen to what she says. This was at the start of 3.0. The very start of version 3.0.
To make you proud. I hope I haven't let you down.
And that was the voice from the radio. There is surely some way Chisa and her abilities will be able to cut through whatever's going on to join her on her journey. We fight Aleph 1 with her. And then obviously she doesn't end up getting sucked in. I don't think we're going to beat Aleph 1, but I'm pretty sure we'll just make him go back into the black hole, and then Chisa cuts everybody back to the present. I mean, that's what it kind of has to be, right? That's kind of what it has to be. Otherwise, any work Kuro Games has put down when it comes to 2.8, Chisa, all this stuff over here, I'm gonna say it's safely wasted. But after seeing all of this, the pieces are all lining up. I think that Chisa is meant to be saving cats for a reason. Because guess what's going to happen to Rover, guys, right? If Amith actually died, I think Rover would have a literal mental breakdown. If Amith is like 100% dead, I think Rover would have a legit mental breakdown. So if Amith dies, I think that kind of just counts as Rover dying too. I'm going to be sort of for real with you. They're not going to be the same person afterwards. They would wipe their memories again, 100%. And so is saving Amith the same as saving Rover? I think so. I think so. And I think the teasing that they've done, right, to plant all of these seeds and to see them bloom this much from one 4-hour quest, I'm not going to lie, it's some of the best storytelling, the best story writing I think we've had in the space. And I will safely say I do believe Kuro deserves an apology.
The universe has rejected us. Is this the answer you've been seeking? I hope to make you proud. I hope I haven't let you down.
Who do you think those other voices are? And isn't it crazy to say the universe has rejected us? That kind of only makes sense if you're in outer space, right? And guess where Amith is? Why would you say the universe has rejected us? So yeah, I see this as Amith, Chisa, Fusion Rover. I think we get Fusion Rover here. That's when it's going to be unlocked. And I think Fusion Rover might be in 3.2, and they're probably going to use the new Fusion Burst set. There's a new Fusion Burst sub DPS set, and it's called Chromatic Foam. Maybe, I don't know how that's going to be related to Rover. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but that seems like it would make a lot of sense to me. Because guys, there's no way this is how her story ends. There's no way that's what's actually going to occur. And I think the thing is, and this is the last part of my theory, some people might say the existence of this version of Imith, right, kind of would nullify all of this. It's like, oh, clearly, right, they're meant to, like, do, like, you know, it's like, this is like the new her. I think that this Imith is the mech. Because we all know that the mech has, like, its own personality. And the clearest way you can tell that is the mech. I think that's quote-unquote Amith. That is the Amith, right? That learns how to, like, sort of be a human. But Amith is an exoswarm. That is what that, like, homunculus is supposed to be. It's an exoswarm. What is this? It's a fucking exoswarm, bro. So Because an exoswarm is anything that's built off of the exostrider, and this is built off the exostrider, right? It's an exoswarm. So, I'm just gonna be real with you. Doesn't it kind of make sense that this homunculus would probably pilot this? Because they have their own personalities. This! And what does this homunculus do, guys? Look at what this homunculus does.
You know how, like, sometimes family members will sit next to somebody that's, like, brain dead or, like, a vegetable and just, like, watch? Throws a paper plane.
I really just... Until you hear an explanation that is better than mine, mine is the explanation. There you go. That's what I'm gonna say. So, I think this take, we've gone to a lot of different places, right? We've gone over a bunch of different stories and stuff like that. I feel like we've hit on basically everything that I wanted to when it comes to my reaction to this story, how it links to all the different other things that have occurred, and of course, the things that are going to happen next. And I'm going to be so for real with you. I think the next story is also going to be a complete goddamn banger. It's going to be simply just, like, amazing, and I can't wait to see what's next. You're telling me there's a Cristoforo speech as well? All right, let's listen to this one. This one 2.7.
Seater's fate, and still you descend into the abyss alone to aid in their defiance of fate. Aren't you merely playing the role of savior?
We know they do that.
I know you bear a power not of this world. It grants you a courage that borders on folly. But even so, Overthrax's power lies dormant within Abbey.
Yeah, we don't really need that extra little tidbit over here. It's like, just basically, people know. People know. And another note, there is a dead rover in the story as well. Rover's body ends up appearing inside one of the, the pools at a certain point where they're saving Ameth. They're saving, like, the child Ameth, right? Bringing them to the surface while another one picks them up. And the thing is that the rover that's bringing the child Ameth back up to the surface dies. That is the one that brings the child Ameth up. Ameth in the other, or the rover in the other outfit, shit, I think I could just play the scene. That might make more sense.
But we're clearly dying. Yeah, we're fucking dying, bro.
Don't try to save everyone on your own.
Frequencies are actively getting drained right now.
You have to trust me.
No. If you do this, there's no coming back. The Strider Gate will shut you out forever.
This is the only way. The loop will close. And the High Roy will survive.
I'm at.
And we will find each other in the Frostlands.
So look what happens here. You see little Imeth.
Oh, there we go. That's the thing.
Where do you think that rover went? We died. I don't know. Maybe we died. I don't... Like, the thing is, we don't see that rover that... Or we do see them. They're like... It's a body, right? So did rover die already? Who knows? This is... Remember, this is the start of 3.0. Was that... We skipped right past that rover. They disappeared into the sea.
Ameth on her way back.
And we go back to 3.0 right after the scene.
This meant that this part at the start...
So think about it this way, right?
That's her.
This is the last thing I'll leave you guys with. If we died, who is this? Who is this? Wouldn't it be a crazy twist if this wasn't the rover at the end of 3.1? Wouldn't this be a twist if this was a completely different person? Or a completely different rover? Imagine if this is a rover in a different time loop. Yeah, we're in. And yeah, this is the scene, right? This is the scene. 3.0 main story act 1. That's just the reference to it. So you're seeing over here, right? Or wait. This is where the dead body shows up? Wait, you're saying that link is where the dead body shows up? Oh shit. Okay, let's go find the body then. Right? Okay. You're saying it shows up here. Let's see it. Yeah, we're in. Yeah, that was the rover that brought up that child Ameth to the surface. Drained all their frequencies and died. But that was the rover that we were playing in 3.1. That rover is this one. This one. And isn't it crazy that from their body, right, you see all the stuff that's draining their frequencies? So who is this? Who is this? Because this is who we control after all of this. It's this guy.
Ameth is on the other side of the Strider Gate.
Who is this? Because guess what, guys? Who has the talisman over here? What brings this Ameth back, right? You see the talisman, right? Who picks up the talisman during this entire, like, dying scene? Look at who has this talisman. He has it! The rover that's dying has it! Or, yeah, they have it right here, and then it's floating down. Who grabs that? Who grabs it? It's this rover. This rover is the one with the talisman, but they're nowhere to be found. This rover has the talisman. The other one died. We saw the body. It's dead. This is another rover with a talisman, and that's the first one we control when we get back here. So I think this is like... Is this the Honami City rover? Guys, I think this is the rover that goes back in time, gets Chisa's help, and we just played a part of like version 3.2 or 3.3. Maybe. Right? We might have played version 3.2 or 3.3 instead. And so while we're on the topic of who grabs the talisman, this is what it looks like from the 3.1 quest. The moment where baby Ameth is like falling,
it's the
you
same
see
link.
the talisman, right? And it just gets randomly grabbed. But then you don't really see like the rest of what's going on here, right? Huh, that's a little bit inconclusive. Who had it? It's Time Loop Rover. It's this rover. That's what I think it is. Isn't it very apt that Ameth's Fusion Burst team would be the same squad that goes out to save her? Chisa, Ameth, and Fusion Rover. Wouldn't that make a lot of sense for the Ameth Fusion Burst team to be Chisa, Fusion Rover, and Ameth, the same squad that goes to save her? That would make sense in lore too, wouldn't it? That'd be pretty badass. That would be fucking sick if true. Like, you get the canon team, and it's one of the best teams. And then you just fuck up Aleph 1 with the best in slot Fusion Burst team. Kind of badass, isn't it? The last take that I'll have when it comes to Fusion Rover, Ameth, Chisa, and all of that is I want Fusion Rover to be Sigilum. I want Rover to re-access those frequencies that make up Sigilum in this fight, Sigilum in this form, because Rover's behind it, right? And I want them to have a transformation where they turn into the robot. They'll have flight, all of that stuff. They'll be the Fusion Burst sub DPS. That would be the most insane thing ever. Would it not? And guys, what do you do in this story? What do you do in this part of the story? You are Sigilum. You
know, I found something interesting in the Exostrider's reactor drive.
You are Sigilum. She seems a little crazy, brother. What's going on?
A message left by my future self.
Hey, yo? Is it because I absorbed Sigilum's frequency? Read that.
Well,
Wait, read that first line. We absorbed Sigilum's frequency here.
Let's see what she does.
Why am I in control of Sigilum?
What the Okay, at this point, if Fusion Rover isn't Sigilum, I'm gonna be kind of pissed off. Why would you not be? Why would we not have a Sigilum form? When you are Sigilum, you literally, like, you are Sigilum, you find that out in the fight, then you become him. There's no way we aren't gonna be him when the new Rover version drops. There's no fucking way. That's my take, at least. But that's gonna be the last one, I promise. Sorry. As you can see, there's a lot of stuff floating around. This is just a bunch of random theories. I know it's all like very like not that loosey-goosey, but it's a bit rapid fire. But just wanted to get my thoughts out after playing this story, because it's been an absolute blast just thinking about how everything's gonna be linked together from here and moving onward. But yeah, that's going to be it for this one, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully, you're a little bit more hyped for the future versions than you were before after seeing some of this information. And like I said, I do think Kuro deserves, or maybe Chisa. I think Chisa deserves an apology, but we'll see. Let me know what you all thought. Peace out.